Hi, I'm State Representative Mark Gillen, the 128th Legislative District, and we are uniquely privileged today to host our Veterans Expo. And we're going to start first with the Mobile Vet Center. This is the federal component. We are here to do whatever we can to facilitate assistance for those patriotic Americans which have served their country so admirably in the service. We're right in the nerve center here. This is where you get some information, some brochures, federal benefits for veterans. It's got some information about the Mobile Veterans Center. First of all, we're greatly privileged to have you here. We're going to have some folks come on. They're going to have some special needs. You're going to do some referrals. Tell us a little bit about what's going to happen inside the Mobile Vet Center today.
Sure. Let me first start off with what the Vet Center is. The Vet Center is a specialty program of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, which provides readjustment counseling to combat theater veterans and their families. We also provide counseling for military sexual trauma, as well as bereavement counseling for the surviving family of anybody who passed away while on active duty. So that's our main mission. We have 300 locations across the country, and there's 70 mobile vet centers. So what the Mobile Vet Center does is come to events like today at your Veterans Expo to kind of get the word out about what the vet centers can provide and what they can do. So today, what we are able to do is get an understanding of what these veterans might need and connect them with some of the services that they would require either through the federal VA. So if it's a referral to benefits type questions, get them in touch with one of their veteran service officers from the county or one of the state veterans benefits people. But if it's something more specific towards VA healthcare or VA mental health, this is a place that we can come and we can get them right in touch with the local vet center in Lancaster, or if they prefer either Harrisburg or something like that. So it's a place to put a face to the name and have a warm, welcoming environment for them.
Thanks, Mike. Tim, you drove this vehicle in this morning. I understand having a conversation about the kind of places you travel to. It's relatively rural. This is probably a suburban mix. What's the furthest out, most rural location, hardest to find perhaps you've been to recently?
This particular event here.
Oh, that's why you were a few minutes late, right?
Yes. Again, we go out in the rural areas and provide our services. And with the Mobile Vet Center, its primarily focus is to go out in the rural areas and provide those services to our veterans, just as well as do a lot of outreach to make sure that veterans are aware of the services that we have available.
Well, we appreciate y'all being here. Let me say this. We're fairly significantly deployed today as a National Guard in Pennsylvania, and you look at Afghanistan and Iraq winding down. Are the needs that you've observed becoming more acute? You're seeing more veterans come through with combat-related illnesses or needs?
We are. Of course, since we specialize in war, either war trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, readjustment disorder, the needs of the younger generation of veterans that come in, of which I'm an Iraq vet, and Tim here, he's a veteran as well. Some of those issues are, even like family issues. They're not so sure, they're not sure what it's like to be that mom or dad again, or that they were, be that younger daughter, that sister again, so kind of like family issues. As well, some other things like, particularly like sleep issues or timing. They're not sure. A lot of things are on their plate. Now they're home, they want to go back to school, they have to have a job. It's a lot of, things going on in their life that they just want to, kind of hash out and get a better handle on.
My dad's generation, there were 16 million men and women in uniform, and you look at a substantive chunk of society that represented. Today, it's significantly more truncated in terms of the numbers of men and women that are going out there, though our National Guard is significantly deployed in Pennsylvania. Is the support system perhaps not quite what it was in the community, since you don't have nearly as many going out as a percentage of the population as you had during World War II?
I think that depends on the individual community, and I think while there's a lot of support for the individual, when they come home, they don't, but they're not sure. A lot of times family members or friends or neighbors aren't sure what's needed to help with that person through some of these transitions. And of course, the service member coming back, that veteran now, they have to take on it's part of their identity now that they've been deployed to Iraq, they've been deployed to Afghanistan, they've been through certain life experiences that many people don't or haven't. So it's just an interesting dynamic once that person comes back into their community, and how to be reintegrated back into it.
Very briefly, when my dad was gone, he was gone for a substantive length of time. There wasn't a redeployment. Right. You're going to have to prosecute this until the war was over. But some of these veterans are in and out of the situation of combat. How does that influence them?
I think it influences them, especially for the Guard and Reserve, because they're constantly having to flip the switch kind of on and off to being a service member and deployed in an operational zone. You got high operational tempo. You're doing the job every day. You're waking up. You're going on convoys. You're going on missions. You're, doing external patrols, and then you come home, and now it's back to Kutztown for a year and a half, and then it's up. You're deploying again, and just flip the switch again. So it's that constant up and down with the life cycle.
Well, Tim said it was really hard to find this place. So we got some good food waiting for you over at the mess hall. You guys ready to head out?
Yes.
Right. Sounds good. You looking for anything special over there?
No, not really. Just some good food.
Sea rations.
Always work.
All right. Well, let's head on over there, gentlemen. Once again, it's a great pleasure to have you here, Dale, representing the county at the Veterans Expo. Let me backtrack away from this site just for a minute. You've relocated your offices, much more accessible, a lot more foot traffic for the Veterans Affairs office, the County of Berks.
Right. We've moved to 726 Cherry Street in Reading. We're adjacent to the BARDA bus station, the transportation center. They've got 22 bus runs out and 22 bus runs back in several times a day, and our numbers have just shot through the roof by just making the department more accessible.
I understand you're close to 1,000 in terms of foot traffic just in the first few months of 2013.
All the way up through April, we already have had 1,000 people through the door. Last year, between the old office and the new office, we had 2,000 people. We're probably approaching 3,000 people served by our small 6-person team, and so the tempo is pretty impressive.
Let me just say a word of thanks in terms of the outstanding service you're providing in Berks County. As a state representative, I get to see the panorama of what's happening in a number of other counties. As far as I'm concerned, we're at the top of the pack, and thank you and your team for what you're doing.
We certainly appreciate that. At the Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Christian Leinbach, Commissioner Mark Scott, Commissioner Kevin Barnhart, and I, when we were first meeting and bringing me aboard, one of the things that they definitely wanted in their vision was a department that engaged in the community. And I think by just the location and the team and just having the right people in the right place, I think we're doing as well as we possibly can. Some days it seems like all 29,000 Berks County veterans are coming to our office or calling on the phone, and then we have all those widows and widowers too of deceased veterans, which we've talked about over the years. They too are coming to us in much bigger numbers.
I know that we're not going to cover the panorama of services that you offer, but could you highlight some of those services just for a moment?
A county Department of Veterans Affairs is that helping team for citizens in one of these 67 Pennsylvania counties. And our job is to assist folks by providing information about all the benefits and services that are going to be available at the federal level, the state level, and then also at the county level. And we also network to all those human service organizations that are out there in Berks County, in our case, that can come to aid somebody who is either dealing with illness, injury, financial hardship, those sorts of things. And then we will also assist them in the applications and the claims for those benefits and services. And then even after death of the veteran, our office has responsibility to document the death of the veteran, to identify where the person is interred, and document that information, and then immediately talk to the survivor and talk about survivor benefits, burial and memorial benefits too.
You're a veteran yourself. You served in the Air Force. You know what this business is all about, but does anything ever surprise you? Every day's a little different.
Right.
New challenges?
A challenge, the big challenge is certainly the volume of folks coming forward these days and the tempo at which they're coming to contacting the office. It can be overwhelming. But it doesn't matter if it's a World War II vet or if it's an Iraq or Afghanistan vet. If you've been in combat, the same sorts of things are presented no matter what age of the person. And then for the widows and widowers, pretty standard financial hardship situation.
Absolutely. Could you give out some contact information in terms of phone number, email address?
Certainly. Folks, again, can come on in at 726 Cherry Street. We have a benefits presentation every Tuesday afternoon at 1:30. No reservations required for that. Just come on out and we'll help you. And then also the folks can contact us on the phone at 610-378-5601. And you could always reach us, and I'd encourage this, is the Berks County government has a tremendous website. And I'd love for folks to start going there more and more for all services, and we're listed among all the departments.
I'll use that website once again as I have in the past. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dale. A Veterans Expo wouldn't be complete without a historical food display, and we have one set up for you here at the barn at Flying Hills, which was donated for our Veterans Expo this year. Historically, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth picnic at the cusp of the outbreak of fighting in World War II. And one of the things that they enjoyed in the United States and then later imported to Great Britain was the hot dog. It was actually a very famous picnic with President Roosevelt in American history, and it encouraged a love affair, transatlantic, between the American and British people, with the hot dog being the epicenter of that. I think most people are familiar with the fact that there was rationing during the Second World War. And so you've got sugar and sweets right here, which is a special treat. And the sugar rationing didn't really end until several years after the cessation of conflict in World War II. During the Vietnam era, we had Donut Dolly, which is probably something that many people aren't nearly as familiar with. And these gals who were college graduates came and brought that comfort food, if you will, to Southeast Asia for our United States servicemen. Moving a little bit more contemporary, there were over 20,000 pizzas that were brought over for the military to help them enjoy pizza during the Super Bowl. And a retired Air Force Master Sergeant, Sergeant Evans, was responsible for the genesis of this idea. Many people are familiar with the banana wars in the United States history, some of those occupations and police actions, and if I understand correctly, it's still America's favorite fruit. Moving over here, and I have to admit, for the office staff girls, this is probably their favorite table because United States military chocolate was cherished. I can speak personally for my dad, who was a World War II veteran, who was deployed in the South Pacific on an aircraft carrier, and when you were in that theater and the heat was oppressive, you needed a chocolate bar that wasn't going to melt on you. And this chocolate bar, which was part of a ration D or a D-ration bar, was issued during the Second World War, and it held up during some of that oppressive heat. Now, as you look at this popcorn display here, you wouldn't think that much about World War II. But when Americans were looking for snack food and sugar was in short supply, popcorn became the staple snack. And so certainly much more popcorn was eaten during World War II than in other times. Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We've got some chocolate bars back over here, and it's about time for me to start munching on one of those D-ration chocolate bars from World War II. Pete, we really appreciate you being at the Veterans Expo. Could you tell folks a little bit about what you do at CareerLink?
My main goal in life, Representative, is to help unemployed veterans or underemployed veterans get back to work. We meet with them, we counsel them, help them with their resumes, make sure they're job ready so that when they go out on the interview, They make a good showing. I also work with employers, getting to know them and their operations, so that when we have a veteran that's qualified, I'll call the employer and say, you really have to talk to this person. And so far, we've been pretty successful.
You've got a passion to work with veterans. You want them to be successful, and I share that same passion as a son of a World War II veteran. Where does that intensity and drive come from with regard to veterans?
I think it's just something that not enough attention has been paid to the plight of a lot of the veterans. They muster out of the service, and a lot of them don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. A lot of them have really never held down a steady job other than maybe at McDonald's during high school. So they're really just floating in thin air and just don't know where to turn.
I sense a little bit of emotion rising up in this because you feel very strongly about our veterans and what they've done. And they've got some transitional issues, they've got some employment issues, and you're helping work that through for them. Some success stories, perhaps, you'd like to share.
I don't know anything specific. I made a goal for myself when I started this job 3 years ago of helping a certain number of vets get back to work every year.
Okay.
And so far, my count is about 140 veterans that I've helped get back to work. So there's a lot of satisfaction.
There's a unique challenge that a veteran faces transitionally in coming back. Some of your experience obviously has to come into play in working with them. When you encounter a veteran, he's been overseas, he's been away from family, he's out of a job. If you don't have a heart for this, you probably should find something else to do. And you do. These veterans trust you, they've got confidence in you. Tell us a little bit about that relationship building.
Well, you're right. It is confidence. I mean, they're going through a lot of emotional turmoil, no work. Some of them are in danger of losing homes and that kind of thing. And you have to come across as sincere, genuine, and they also have to have the confidence in you that you can help them get back to work. I've done everything from build houses to own 3 building companies and all sorts of stuff. And I can relate to just about any type of work or job out there, and that gives you credibility with the veterans that they have the confidence that you can meet them at whatever level they are and get the job done.
So when you're pointing them in the right direction vocationally, you've got some practical boots on the ground, hands-on experience, which is invaluable.
Oh, absolutely, and that comes across, and then they'll open up and tell you things that maybe they wouldn't tell somebody else that could be critical to them getting that job.
Well, we admire the work that you're doing at CareerLink. And once again, could you share that contact information for folks in terms of web information, phone number?
The easiest thing to do is pmarberger, MARBERGER, at pa.gov. I'm the only Pete in the CareerLink, so I'm easy to find. And we are moving to 1920 Kutztown Road, only about a mile from where we are now. But email me and I'll get back to you.
Well, Pete, thanks so much for being here. We're going to get you back behind the desk here because I know folks want to talk to you about some career opportunities. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here with CJ Quick from the Lebanon VA Medical Center. Could you share with us, CJ, a little bit about what goes on in Lebanon?
Absolutely, sir. Well, I'm here today to represent the Lebanon VA Medical Center and provide veterans with the information and the knowledge of the VA medical benefits that we provide. Now, VA consists of many branches of, there's different agencies. We have the National Cemetery Administration, we have the Veterans Benefit Administration, plus we have the Veterans Health Administration. What the VAMC in Lebanon is a part of the Veterans Health Administration. Now, with that being said, enrollment and eligibility is based on income. Income, or if a veteran has a service-connected disability, or if a veteran had, say, served in the Republic of Vietnam from 1962 to 1975. There's multiple different levels, priority groups we call them, and if a veteran is service-connected, say 50% or more, then that entitles them to priority group 1 care, which includes exemption from copays on primary care visits, copays on medication, and plus they get reimbursed for their travel. Now, the Lebanon VA, we offer outpatient clinics. There's outpatient clinics in 9 different counties. We have York, Berks, Lancaster, Dauphin, Lebanon, Schuylkill, and Perry County. Also to include Adams County. But my primary goal as the outreach coordinator is to educate the veterans and let them know of the local resources that are available to them. Also to increase enrollment. Every day we're losing hundreds of World War II veterans nationwide. And our younger veterans returning from current conflict in Afghanistan and previously Iraq, they have no idea that they're eligible for 5 years of free health care for a possible any injury or illness related to their service. Right now with, as you may see on the news, burn pits, the burn pits where they would burn trash or anything in the environment, causing a lot of environmental health problems that these veterans don't know that they're eligible for care. So my goal is to get the information out to these veterans and help them provide the services that the VA Medical Center provides, which is excellent. We're cutting edge. TBI, PTSD. The VA is the leader in research of TBI and PTSD, mental health, and we're doing the best we can. And by getting the information out there, we're increasing our enrollment numbers.
You were very comprehensive in what you covered. We've got just a few seconds left here. Could you give us the contact information? How does somebody communicate with the VA Center, ask questions, receive answers, website, phone number?
Absolutely. If a veteran wants to reach me, I'm in the Office of Outreach Coordination, and my telephone number is 717-272-6621, and I have 2 extensions, 4298 or 4296. They're my extensions. Or you can find us on Facebook at Facebook Lebanon VA. We're also on Twitter, and you can find us on the website, va.gov, and locations. Type in Lebanon VA MC, and there we are.
Sounds pretty comprehensive to me. We're really pleased that you came to join us today, and lots of folks waiting to talk to you, so I'm going to let you get back to the table. Thanks, CJ.
Thank you, Mr.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
With my good friend here today, Eugene Pappy Strine, as his friends like to call him, Pappy. World War II veteran, you've got a very intriguing story. I'm riveted to this story. My entire family has been captivated by it. Tell us a little bit about the restoration of the P-61, the Black Widow, that you're undertaking now.
Well, the P-61 that I recovered from top of Mount Cyclops in New Guinea took about 5 years to bring it back. It was in very bad condition, corrosion and weather laying there for 40 years. So we disassembled the airplane and renewed anything that had corrosion or weather or broken or bent, and rebuilt the fuselage pod. And then we went on to build the tail booms and the stabilizer and the fins. We're now ready to rebuild the wings. One wing is broken completely in half. Will be brand new when we're finished. And we'll have 2 overhauled engines on the airplane.
This is a legendary story. The P-61 went down during World War II in Papua New Guinea, and you've recovered it. You were there in 1982, had your boots on the ground, and you spent a significant amount of time in Papua New Guinea. Did you encounter any of the actual natives that had identified the plane earlier on?
The native didn't identify it. The way it was found was a native from the Dani tribe, which used to be a cannibalistic tribe, was hunting and found the airplane. Okay. It was covered with vines and growth that you couldn't distinguish what it was. So pulling the vines away and all, and the people that were there with the church went up and looked and discovered it was an airplane, and finally found out it was from some letters from another person, it was a P-61 Black Widow.
We've got just a few moments left for this segment here. It's the stuff of legend and lore. We had cannibals, Mount Cyclops. You traveled all the way around the other side of the world to help recover this plane. There's something inside of a person that has to drive and inspire them to do this. What's inside of you that has brought you to the place that this is all consuming in these sunset years of your life?
Well, I started in aviation when I was 15 years old, and being in the Navy, a flight engineer, anti-patrol airplanes, hunting submarines for 3 years, and then getting into civilian again, I just love aviation. And the airplanes are like a life. You know, I've been serving the aviation community for 70 years. Absolutely. And it's kind of, I can't explain exactly what the drive is, but it was something I wanted to do.
Larry, you've got an intriguing project here with the Patriotic Order Sons of America. I'd like more people to know about it. Could you tell us a little bit about your special flag project that you're doing?
Yes, actually this is the Avenue of Flags at the National Cemetery at Indiantown Gap. There's a group up there of volunteers who gather interment flags from donors, and they place the flags on the roads within the cemetery. Again, I emphasize it's only interment flags, flags that were actually used in the funeral service of a veteran. That is what they use. We have started this project back when I was state president for the POS of A, and to this point we have conveyed something like 115 or 116 flags to the National Cemetery for their display. They are on display from about this time of the year, before Memorial Day. They stay up until after Veterans Day in November, and they take them down, and next spring they do it all over again. It's a beautiful sight to see.
I've been to Fort Indiantown Gap. It's a wonderful setting. It's a proper way to memorialize our veterans and those that have gone before us, and you want to acknowledge their service and their passing and their sacrifice through this project.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it was all about. I sort of started as my pet project when I was state president, but we have continued on with it since then. If anyone has a flag they would like to donate, I will personally pick it up. They can contact me, and I'll be glad to do that. Or also at our state office in Leesport, Pennsylvania, we're an official drop-off point too. We're located on Route 61, just across from the Subaru dealer in Leesport.
I feel very honored being a representative in this district, because this is really the epicenter of the Patriotic Order Sons of America. How can they contact you in terms of a phone number or other information?
My phone number is area code 610-777-2005, or also I can be contacted by email at lmgrafe@comcast.net.
Larry, thank you for being here. God bless you, and I'm going to be very encouraged to see how this project progresses. We appreciate it.
It's an honor to convey these flags, because they're very special to people.
Thank you, my friend. We're so pleased that you took time to watch our program today. We were spending the entire day honoring our veterans and providing practical help at the Veterans Expo here in Berks County's 128th Legislative District. If you have any questions as to how our office can assist you as a veteran or as a citizen in any capacity, please look at the screen as we conclude here, and there's contact information for you to reach out to us.